and welcome to the hashtag Speak Easy podcast with your host, Savise Pelzer. I unmute the voice of women who are ready to speak up about what has kept her silent for way too long. This episode, it's about to go down because guess what? So many of you have reached out, asked me questions, blew up the DM, y'all, when it comes to asking, the big ask. Either asking so that way you can elevate your brand, asking so that way you can kind of get into a safe space and start your brand. Man, it's been pandemonium. But I made sure I reached out to my guest for today and I wanted him to speak on it because I've seen his ask get bigger and bigger and bigger, and he has not stopped. So with that being said, Mario, welcome to this hashtag Speak Easy room. How are you?
Man, I'm so excited to be here with you, Altavise. This is great. I'm really pumped up. It's really fun. It's great to hear you kind of tell that story too, because it's true. The asks are getting bigger and bigger. And I never even thought about it like that. I'm just thinking about what's the next ask and the formula that I use to do these asks. But it's true. The asks are getting bigger and bigger, which is interesting to see it from that perspective. I hadn't thought about it like that.
Oh, most definitely. And it lays a foundation for where we're going to start this discussion. So when it comes to, success takes on varying definitions for everybody. Each individual person will have their own, own idea of what success really looks like. And so how has that definition of success really shifted for you from when I first met you in 2016, I want to say, and here we are in 2021?
It's interesting. The definition hasn't changed or evolved too much for me. Everybody does have their own definition. My definition of success has kind of been consistent for the past, I'd say maybe even 10 years. And that definition for me has been harmony. And so harmony to me is when everything is operating in sync. And if you think about it like an orchestra, when you hear a note, when a note's out of sync, you hear that note. Or think about it like a choir. When you hear that one person like, "Ooh, that sounds a little rusty over there on the left. Who was that?" And you looking to see who that was. Like, it's a little rusty, right? Like you need a halls or something. You need to clear your throat. Like, what's going on? And so you can kind of feel that disconnectedness. And so for me, success is harmony. Am I happy with myself? Am I doing the work that I'm proud of doing? Am I excited to wake up to do the work I'm doing? Am I attentive as a husband, as attentive as I can be? Am I attentive as a dad and as a father, as much as I can be? Like, is my family unit in harmony? Like, am I harmonious? And so I feel like if I'm hitting the harmony more often than not, then that means I'm hugely successful. I'm feeling completely fulfilled. So it doesn't really emanate from me in terms of physical possessions. And look, and I like fancy stuff. So let's not get it confused. Like on one of my affirmations is that, we are building, I am building a multi-million-dollar business, and we're doing that to help other people. And I want it to be a multi-million-dollar business because I want to be able to fund more ideas and more projects that can help more people. It's just that simple. And as part of that, one of my fun things that I do envision and visualize for myself is buying a Lamborghini. Why a Lamborghini? Because I grew up just loving Lamborghinis and I always wanted to have one. It's got nothing to do with whether or not I'm going to be a good person. If I'm wealthy, I become a bad person. Who you are is going to be who you are, whether you have money or not. Money just accentuates and amplifies who you are as a person. So that's why at the root of it, I just want to be harmonious for my success. And that however that manifests or however that evolves, whether I end up driving that Lamborghini or not, it's not the metric of success. The metric of success is, did I leave it all out on the floor? Did I give everybody I could give? Did I lean into my gift? Did I share my uniqueness? Did I work on my talent? Did I really believe in what it was I was doing? And did I make a contribution that actually mattered? And when it was all said and done, did I leave it all on the table? That to me is my metric and my bar for success. What comes by that or what comes with that, that's icing on the cake, but that's not the goal.
I love that because it goes back to actually looking at, everything that we've went through in the last 12 months, you literally being able to say, did I do everything that I could? Then if I did everything I could, great. Let's move forward from the point we're at to where we're about to go.
And the point about this is really great too, because here's the thing. Hindsight will make you feel like you didn't do the best you could when you did it. And so what I really need everybody, if you're down and out right now, or if you're struggling right now, which so many people are going through, you're thinking, did I make a bad decision? Should I have done X, Y, Z? Should I have not gone out on my own? Should I have stayed with that job? Should I have kept that check? You're thinking about all these things. At that time, when you made that decision based off the facts and the information and the intuition that you had at that time. That's it, Altavis. So, but we can look in hindsight and we can start having regret syndrome because we start looking at things with the benefit of looking at the past. But you had to remember, if you look, I had this conversation with CEO Nicole, my wife and my business partner. Yes, I am in business with my wife for 10 years and we still happily married, y'all. So pray for us. But here's the thing. Keep praying for us, all right? Because it's working, but keep praying for us. But my point is, I was talking to CEO Nicole the other day, and she had said something about making a decision. She didn't say the word regret, but she was second guessing the decision that she made. And I said, and I could tell it was weighing heavy on her. And I said to her, hey, look, did you make that decision with as much thought as possible that you could give that decision? Did you weigh the pros and cons of that? Answer was yes. Did you study about it? Yes. Did you do any research or maybe even call a mentor or ask for some advice from somebody that may have gone through that before? Yes. Okay. You've done these steps and you're regretting you're having this thought about possible regret on the decision that you made. But when you made that decision, you made it based off of everything you knew at that time and everything you tried to acquire or learn at that time, including your intuition. At that point, and prayer. At that point, you have to let it go. You have to understand it wasn't a mistake. You made the decision that was best for you at the time that you had available to you. And I think if you all really believe that, it starts to really release the feeling of, did I make a mistake? Did I choose the wrong thing? Now, look, I'm not saying you can't learn from lessons. You're supposed to learn from lessons. What I'm talking about is regretting your decision. If you want to learn from your decision, that's one thing. But if you regret the decision, not if you did all the work, not if you studied, not if you asked a mentor, not if you really prayed and you really gave it legit thought, and then you made that decision with everything you had at that moment. And I just think that's really important because none of us are perfect. And the only way that we get to experience our potential is by trying. And when we try, we only fail when we don't try. If we try and it doesn't work out the way we expected, then we learn from that and we keep it moving.
That part, oh my goodness, and the keep it moving part is so significant too. I listened to you tell a story about you working with Spike Lee, or you being on stage with Spike Lee.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because, when we think about a big ask, sometimes the big ask, we have to kind of tailor make and cultivate the moment. And so I want you to share that story with the Speakeasy audience, because sometimes they have the opportunity to be on stages and be in rooms with some of these same people. But when it comes to doing that big ask,
right.
They at that moment they're like
I don't know what to say. What you think about the weather? What? What? No, shoot your shot. So what you're really referring to too is a formula that I've kind of perfected over the years, and it's called the 3 ask formula that I've created, that I share with other people. The 3 ask formula, and then I'll get to the story. The 3 ask formula really gives you an opportunity to increase the chances of getting a yes, because you're asking in 3s. Just remember this as I get ready to tell you the story. Whenever you have a chance to ask somebody a question, someone that's important to your career, to your opportunities, to your life, if they're that important and their answer could really help maybe shift or make a difference for you, don't just do it halfway. Like, you have to treat it as important as it is for you in how you present the question. So what I do is I actually type up a letter with the 3 asks, and the 3 ask formula is very simple. You put in 3 very specific questions or asks that you make, and you start them off with very easy level, like easy for them to do, and then a mid-tier level that's got a little bit more energy or time or effort they may have to put into it, and then your dream ask. So low, mid, high. the reason why you're doing this is because if you only ask for one thing and they say no, the door is shut. But if you ask for three things and they look at all three, what I've noticed, and it's not 100% foolproof. I've had people not give me a yes to all three. So that's happened before. But more than not, I've had people give me more than one yes. So in the case of Spike Lee, I'll move to that story. In the case of Spike Lee, we're at South by Southwest, which is in Austin, Texas. It's a big event that combines technology, media, entertainment, innovation, entrepreneurship, and you got everybody speaking on stages and panels and workshops and all these different things. And it takes over downtown of Austin, and it happens in a bunch of places like the convention center, but also in the hotels, in the ballrooms. They also take over restaurants and turn those restaurants into event venues where there are panel discussions and things that are happening, and demos and all kinds of things to demonstrate the technology and all the good stuff that's going on, performances, everything. So I knew that I was going to be speaking on this stage with, well, I didn't know at the time I was going to be speaking with Spike. I knew I was going to be speaking on a stage to a room full of 500 HBCU students that were all getting to visit South by, which is a great experience for them as college students. So I was preparing my thoughts a couple of days before. This was with Capital One, which is one of our sponsors. And so I was preparing my thoughts the day before of what I was going to say to these young minds. And then I get a phone call while I'm in Austin. Spike Lee is coming by. He's also going to be on stage with you. We are so excited, both of you. You don't have to carry this by yourself. Both of you are going to be on stage talking to students. And I'm like, what? Like the Spike Lee? Like she got a habit, Spike Lee? Like Gamma Phi Gamma, Spike Lee? Like we going there, Spike Lee? Like it's got to be the shoes, Spike Lee? Like it's got to be the shoes, Spike Lee? Like I'm in a zone now. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So I tell CEO Nicole, I'm like, look, I got this chance to meet Spike. He's going to be on stage. And, instantly I start talking to a few people on the team, and they're like, he can be known as a difficult character. You don't really know how to play him. You don't really know how to approach him. He can kind of be standoffish. He's known to be an introvert, like all these things. And I was like, shut all that noise up. I know. I don't want to hear it. Because when we get ready to do an ask, whether we get noise from outside sources or noise from inside sources, it starts to cloud how we actually prepare our ask. So the first thing I want you to remember is Mario told you when you're getting ready to make that ask or you're getting ready to write it down, that you're going to start feeling what we call nerves. You're going to start feeling, which is really just energy. And that energy is good if you use it in the right way with good intention. So here's what happened. The night before, I'm studying everything I can about Spike Lee because I want to ask him some questions, not necessarily on stage, but in the green room. Like, I know I'm going to be on stage with them, but at that time, I'm going to be focused on these HBCU students. So I'm trying to think, what am I going to ask of Spike when I have a moment with him? It's Spike Lee. I need to make an ask. I don't need to just say, hello, man, I'm a fan. Great to do you. Love to do the right thing. Like, I need to make an ask. You need to make an ask. Like, you are being put in that position to show up, not just for them, but for yourself. So what can you bring to Spike, or what can Spike bring to you? And so I'm sitting there and I'm studying, I'm reading up about Spike. I'm looking at video clips and I'm like, man, I don't want to break the ice with him on some basic stuff about like stuff that people would already say, like certain movies they've already seen and lines from. So I found this black and white film of his, like deep. I'm talking, this is now going on at like 11:30 at night. And the thing is happening the next morning at around 11 a.m. But we got other things that I have to do prior to like 10 o'clock showing up at the green room. So Nicole is like, will you get to bed? I'm like, no, I got to get this study in. I'm trying to learn everything I can about Spike as fast as possible. So I pull up this black and white film and I find this one sentence. The black and white film, by the way, blew me away. It was a college film that he did. And he was basically doing a movie where he was paying a black, the premise of the film was a black screenwriter is going to be paid $50 million to do a rewrite of a very racist film. and so this white man was paying this black man to rewrite this racist film. And not only does he rewrite it and do it, but then in this one scene, the white man is actually upset because he comes in and he talks to this other white business person. And he says, can you believe what they did at the box office? They made over $50 million. So he was upset that this rewrite actually was profitable because he thought he was going to make him into a failure trying to do this rewrite. And I'm like, oh, that's the line. I'm going to say that line to Spike. I'm going to ask him about that line. I'm going to use that as my way to break the ice with him. Now, that's just me trying to make a connection with him on a deeper level. I'm trying to prove to him that I did some deeper level research than the average person to really try to connect with him on a deeper level in a short amount of time. I don't know when I'm going to use that moment, but that's the moment that I captured, that I found. I go to bed. It's 12:30 now. I now write up my letter. My first ask was, Spike, would you give me, my first ask was, could I get 16 minutes of your time for a mentorship phone call? Just one 16-minute mentorship phone call. Very easy. It's just 16 minutes. He can say yes or no. The second one was, would he be willing to be a guest on the Never Settle show? And then the third one was, could I, and I kind of put two in there. I normally don't do this, but I did. Could I shadow you for the day? Or could you produce the opening video for my new show, for my new season? So I could have Spike Lee's names on the credits. That's what I was going for, right? So I wrote that up, put it in a letter, typed it up, put it in a letter, and then I put it in an envelope, wrote to Spike Lee from Mario Armstrong, put it in my coat pocket. So then the next morning I get dressed, we go and do our stuff, then we show up at the green room. He's in the green room, he's on the phone. I walk into the green room with just my guy Shy, and we walk in, and he's busy. He's on his BlackBerry, and he's like looking at some notes and writing some stuff down. He starts talking about his Netflix situation, and it must have been about She's Gotta Have It, and they were rewriting some lines or doing something. So I couldn't disturb the man, but I just waved to him, said hello, and then just sat there kind of quiet and just waited for a break for him to not be working. And somebody came into the room at one point and kind of broke that energy for a second. So then and he's sitting in the middle of the sofa, so I can't sit on the left of him, I can't sit on the right of him, because you're going to be like, yo, what's going on with you, bro? Like, you all up in my space. Like,
you don't want to do a creepy moment before an ask.
Right. So I had to go sit in the lounge chair, like to the side, and we're in this green room, and it's got like these big light bulbs and a couple mirrors and fruit baskets and all this food and stuff. And so I'm just chilling, and I'm just like, man, this is really awkward. Like, I can't really like figure out a way to break this ice. And I just sit, and then eventually he gets off the phone. And I said, Mr. Lee, I said, we're going to be going on stage together. Is there anything, you and I haven't had a chance to talk about what we're going to say to these students? Is there anything you don't want me to bring up that you don't want to talk about? Just so I could be mindful of something that he didn't want to get into and put him into any situation. And then he was like, no, man, we're all good. He was like, thanks for asking. Appreciate that, but we're good. And then boom, he goes right back down to writing something. And I'm like, damn. Can't get in for nothing, and then that desperation starts to kick in, and you're like, should I just force it? And you like start getting, and I was like, nope, just be easy. Just rest in it. Just sit still. And so fast forward really quick, they come and get us out of the green room. They bring us into the hallway prior to walking us onto the stage. There's a video clip that's going to be running for about 2 minutes. So what happened when the woman came to come get us, he had to stop doing what he was doing. So that broke the energy. And so now he's standing in the hallway, and there's a bunch of people around us, and we're standing in the hallway together. And I was like, this is the moment. Let me shoot the shot now. So I said, Spike, I was like, you remember your film? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, do you remember this line? And then I acted out the line. They made $50 million at the box office. Can you believe it? And he looked at me, and then like he kind of like eyeballed me from like top to bottom and looked back up at me. And I didn't know what that meant. And then he goes, what did you just say? And so I said it again the same exact way. And then he looks at me and he smiles with that Spike Lee grin. He just goes, it was a good line, wasn't it? And that was it. Like, that was it. Like, next thing I know, they're saying, and welcome to the stage, Mr. Mario Armstrong, 2-time Emmy winner, and Mr. Spike Lee. And then the audience just goes nuts. But in that moment, right then, the ice had gotten broken. I could see it in his eyes that there was a different level of connection. I could see it in that smile that he really appreciated what I just did, and that I didn't just say Do the Right Thing was my favorite movie. Thank you so much. And what everybody else would say. And and the reason why I know it impacted him and it made a difference is because when we were on stage together, you would have thought we were already buddies because of how he carried, oh, you need to listen to Mario. Oh, Mario knows what he's talking about. And it wasn't like blowing smoke. I know the difference when somebody's on a stage with somebody and they blowing smoke because they trying to like, give you your fake flowers or whatever it is they're doing. And it's usually driven by ego or something like that. And I could tell this was sincere. And so during the moment when we're talking to the students, because remember, I still got this 3 asks. I didn't hit them with the letter yet. I wasn't going to hit him with the letter in the line. How's he going to read it? We get ready to go on stage. So I knew it was more important to try to break the ice. But the reason why I could break the ice is because I did the research. So if you're taking points and if you're really taking notes and really calculating the points here, number one, you got to do your research like mad on the person. Number two, you got to find something that's different that you're going to say to them that really lets them know that you did more research than the next person so that they know that you invested time in learning about them. Number three, you got to execute patience and read the room and read the space. And sometimes it's very awkward. And sometimes you just got to shoot your best shot, even if it doesn't feel right, but you have to try to do your best to read the room. And then number four, you have to put down your ask in this form on the sheet of paper. So during the actual discussion, some kid asked a question about asking questions and about asking for mentorship. And so I go into this whole formula and I break it down and say, you need to do these 3 asks. And then Spike does his thing. And I said, in fact, I'm going to show y'all in real time what it looks like. And right then and there, I reach into my coat pocket, I pull out the envelope, and I hand it to him. I said, this is what I mean, y'all. I've had this letter since I've met Spike. Haven't given it to him yet, but my 3 asks are in this letter. And he's like, what? And I hand him the letter. And he's like, opening the letter on the spot. I'm like, this is going crazy right now. So the moral of the story is, if you hand people something, they will receive it because you're handing it to them. If you send it to them electronically, it's going to feel like everything else. If you say it to them in the hallway, 1,000 people could be pitching him or her ideas. But if you actually write it, and if you got good handwriting, if you can write it in hand, that's even better. I don't, so I typed it. But if you write it or type it and send it to them in an envelope like FedEx or UPS, and it's got to be signed for or something like that, then they know you took the extra time to make sure this is something that gets to them. And there's something about our human condition that we respect when we know someone hand wrote something or wrote a letter, we take the time to actually absorb it more so than we might an email because we get so many of them, or a phone call. So in that moment, that was when I did the 3 asks in front of a whole audience full of people and I had no idea what was going to happen. So I hope you all enjoy that story, but that is just one sample of how, and I don't care if your person is a Spike Lee or not, like, it's not about that type of person. It's whoever is relevant in your world. Whoever you see as somebody that's important in your world, in your industry, in your networks, who do you want to get 5, 10, 15 minutes from? That person should be given a letter with 3 different asks that have different levels of energy that they need to put into it to make it easy for them to give you a yes.
And it's so significant. The reason, Speakeasy podcast listeners, a lot of you are, introverts. A lot of you are, kind of nervous when you get in the room where it happens. Listen, you get in the room, but you get in the room and you're nervous. And I wanted to say this live and on wax, it will not be taken back. But I actually connected with Mario several years ago, and before he launched the Never Settle show. And I originally wanted to reach out to him and was like, hey, listen, I want to serve in some capacity. I'm not too far. I might be able to do something for a show or something. I just want to be able to be in that room. And I never asked. Never asked, y'all. Never even attempted to. I would follow his broadcast on Periscope. I would see him live on Facebook. When the show went live, I was excited. I've checked out the YouTube and everything, guys, and I never asked. But we're standing here today, or sitting, because I asked.
True. Facts.
Because I asked. And so I wanted to add that to the discussion for a lot of you, because some of you may have said, I missed the opportunity. Yeah, I might have missed the opportunity to be at that first show, but here it is. He's sitting in front of me on this show.
Right.
So don't get discouraged, guys. I know. Listen, the live studio audience is going off in the comments.
What are they saying? I should jump in there.
They're going off. We love it when people care. I love the letter idea. I'm going to write one and carry it with me for whomever I meet.
Yes, that's powerful. The only
Powerful.
the only thing with that is that you lose the specificity. So I like that, but you what I would do in that case is I would actually maybe carry a couple of blank letters so that you could actually just handwrite their name at the top of that letter so that it does at least still feel personalized to them. So I love that. That's a nice play on it. And as long as those three asks can be consistent. Sometimes those asks may need to change, because the real key is when you're making an ask to someone, especially when they're busy or especially if they are successful people, the most important thing that successful people value is their time. And so, because they know how valuable that is. And depending on where they are in their life, they may have some time, they may have no time, they may have a lot of time, depending on what stage they're in and when you cross paths with them. So that's why the three asks makes it really easy. But be very specific. If you noticed, if you paid really close attention, I asked him for a 16-minute phone call. I didn't ask him for a half hour. I didn't ask him for an hour. And please, if you do anything, the fastest thing to get you a no will be if you ask me or somebody to pick their brain. Do not use those terms. I want to pick your brain. Nobody wants their brain picked. It just don't even sound good. Like, I don't even want you all up in my head.
It doesn't even sound appealing. Like, why
no.
would you, this is not zombie land. I don't like that.
Right. What is it going to be, an appetizer? Like, what are we doing with my brain? I don't like the sound of all of this anyway. And then what, I'm giving you some of it. It's not even about like me getting anything back or me being paid for it. That's not, I don't want you to think it's like a conceited statement or something like that. This is just, you haven't done the homework to actually make an ask. So you retreat to a very safe ask, which is actually meaningless.
It's almost as if, do I value what you've done to cultivate your brain?
Woo!
To sit in your presence and have a conversation. Do I respect what you've done? Because see, even when we see somebody who's had a certain level of education, do I respect the fact that you've gone and gotten a doctorate and I want to be in your presence to get this information? Then I got to come correct.
That's it. And it's not ego. It's not anybody thinks they're holier than thou. It's just the maximizing of somebody's time. And by the way, including yours. If you come to me talking about, I want to pick your brain, that kind of is so loose and it's so generic and it's so casual. It actually comes off that you must handle things in your life casually. But if I say to somebody, Mr. Lee, I only need 11 minutes of your time. I only need 16. I don't choose 5. I don't choose 10. I don't use the numbers that everybody else uses, because we've all been in situations where someone says, can I talk to you for 10 minutes? And you realize you're on the phone with them for a half hour and you wondering how you got stuck on this phone call for a half hour. And you like, and I'm a good person, but I feel like I'm being taken advantage of at this point, because you told me 10 minutes and I held you to that word. And what you really meant was, can I talk to you until you're ready to like shut this whole thing down? Like, it's too long. So what I do is I use these off-brand numbers for 2 reasons. One, it gets their attention. They read it twice. People always ask me, Mario, why 11 minutes? Or they'll send me back, I think we'll need more than 11 minutes. Woo-hoo! Okay. That's better than me asking for the 30 minutes. If you saying you're going to now give me the 30, mission accomplished. Let's go. I was willing to just give you the 11. I was going to make it work. And then when you have the 11 minutes, that you actually honor that, so that you can get the next 11 minutes. Or they're in the phone call or in the meeting and they say, no. And I say, Mr. So-and-so or Miss So-and-so, we're about to come up to the last 2 minutes. So I really want to thank you for your time. And I just have 1 or 2 other questions, or whatever that closing thing is, to let them know, like, you're cognizant of what you asked for and that you're sticking to that promise. Integrity over income, character over currency. So you're sticking to what you promised. And when you do that, 9 times out of 10, they go, oh, no, I got a few more minutes. No, there's no problem. We can go to the end of the half hour or whatever it is. Sometimes they're like, okay, good. And it's like, because they got stuff to go do too. So it really does work. And it shows that you value your time, and it shows that you value their time. And you also don't waste time. You can be very effective in a short amount of time.
That takes me into this final question that I think a lot of people, this is going to be that thing that's going to shift your forever. And it's how do you process hearing no?
Ooh. Why are you just coming with such
I
great
know the
questions?
success. I know that the yeses have come. I know about
Yeah, but you've seen the no's. You've seen me when I've been crying on
Yeah.
Periscope. You've seen me when I've been frustrated. You've seen me when I've been
Angry
and emotion
and everything. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I need people to understand that there is it. We get stuck in thinking that we shouldn't have a process for dealing with a no.
Oh, so good. Woo. Y'all, this is really, I've had people ask me that question. I've never had them ask me that question in that way. It's a more powerful question the way you just stated it. It really is. It tells me that you're really locked in with your audience. It tells me that you really know their pain. You really know their challenges. Because for you to phrase it in that way, it's not about, Mario, how do we overcome a no? Anybody can ask me that. That's not really what you asked. You asked me, how come we have this process? And what's our process to deal with no's? Because we what you're basically saying, if I'm reading into this question, is some of us just get the no and we're like, okay, we did our job. It took everything for us to make that ask and we got the answer. Okay, whew, I don't care if it was a yes or I'm whatever. They told me no. I'm so glad I just got that question asked and it's over with. It's done. And
we fall back into that bare minimum, that average mindset.
Yes, that's so. I asked. They said no. But I did do the ask, so I'm rewarding myself. Well, hold on a second. Hold on. Let's get into the process now. Let's get into where Altavis really wants you to make this shift. So this transformational shift is for every no, you have to ask 3 whys. For every no, you ask 3 whys. Let me play out a little quick scenario for you. I go into a conference room with my pitch in my hand, and I'm pitching an idea. And they say to me, no, this doesn't feel right for us at this time. Okay. I don't say, understand. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Are you kidding me? 3 whys. Well, why does this not feel right for you at this time? Well, because, what we have laid out, we thought you were presenting something for first quarter. We got something that's coming up at the end of the year that might fit, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so hold on. My second why, if I was to either adjust this to meet your first quarter priorities, would that be something of interest to you? Yes or no? Okay. Or if can I come back at the third quarter where you said that this makes more sense because it's going to be something for your fourth quarter. So now I'm asking these more qualifying questions to get them to really reveal the root of the problem. And here's the reason why you do this effort. I've closed more deals by asking these questions while I'm in the room than I've closed being outside of the room or handling the no's without asking these questions. I really feel like, I guess what I'm saying is when I've given somebody a pitch, the chances of them just saying yes to it are slim to none. But the conversion rate is slim to none. But the conversion rate when I ask the questions goes way higher because now I'm getting to the root of their real issues or their real challenges or what they don't see and what it is I delivered. Like I'll never forget when someone said, oh, well, I thought your show was also going to feature such and such. And I go, you know what? I completely forgot to bring that up. By the way, Altavis, I didn't forget to bring it up. It wasn't a part of the show. It wasn't a part of the show. I didn't forget to bring nothing up. But I was like, oh, that's a great idea. I didn't realize that was important to them. And in real time, I'm thinking, can I make that work into the show? So what successful people will tell you is this one thing. If you want something super transformative, check this out. Every successful person, and I consider myself a success. I don't consider myself successful because my life isn't over yet, but I consider myself having success, and I consider myself having a lot of failures to help me see that success. But I've been lucky to be on Richard Branson's island. I've been lucky to be a partner with Damon John and be in his speaking bureau and hang out with him. I've been lucky to be on the Today Show and be in these green rooms with Mary J. Blige and all these other great people. I've been lucky to be blessed in these presence of these people. Now I'm there to do my work, So I'm trying to meet these people just like any other regular person is trying to meet them. I'm just trying to accelerate that relationship and to try to see if it can evolve into something else. And so when I'm in these spaces, what very successful people will tell you that they don't want anyone to really know, like the hidden secret, is that they're all making it up as they go along. Like, just sit with that for a second. They are all making it up as they go along. You just need to hear somebody successful say it. That's it. I just needed to hear successful people tell me, wait, you ain't have a plan for this? What, you didn't strategize all this? What, you didn't already know what you were going to do? What? No way. We tried this. It didn't work. Then we tried that. And then that seemed to work. And then the market did this. And then the industry did that. And blah, blah. Like, no, they now, do you learn from things that you've done over the years? Yes. Can I ask Damon about, manufacturing t-shirt design? He's going to be able to tell me lessons learned from that. But did he know it when he was going through it? No, he was making it up as he went along. So there's this misconception that somebody has the answers. Nobody does. And so when you get that, you get some freedom and you get freeing. So when it comes to this whole idea of having this transformation, of having these no's, everybody's had them. So it's just a matter of, do you ask questions to try to qualify them? And then I'll end on this or not end the discussion, but end this part of these no's, because there's another little moment that happens when you get no's. If you are getting the same no consistently, you go into one room, they tell you your price is too high. You go into another room, they tell you your price is too high. You pitch it on an email, somebody says, your price is out of my range, it's a little too high. You really should probably revisit your pricing and how you are pricing yourself in the marketplace. If you are getting the consistent no, you need to pay attention to a consistent no. Here's the difference. If one of those people say your price is too high, if somebody else says, I thought you had this feature, if somebody else says, not at this time, you're on the right path. Do not tweak your pitch. Don't change a thing. You just haven't met the right person at the right time yet. So you have to keep pitching. But when you're getting that consistent problem, you need to make a fix, because you're just going to keep hitting that same problem over and over and over.
So significant on so many different levels. Like, this episode could go on, guys, and we could sit here and talk and talk and talk. But the one most valuable thing, Speakeasy podcast listener, is I'm always telling you, is that you take action. And so you may have heard some things that made you want to snack. It made you want to run around the room, throw your phone, have a hallelujah moment. I get it. Don't be so caught up in the moment that you forget to do, one, write things down, two, determine how it is relevant to your journey and your story, and three, take action. Like, that is the most valuable thing that you will ever hear from somebody, because if you do not take action, sitting in the room means nothing. I'm telling you, it will mean absolutely nothing. This episode is going to be one of my top. Yeah.
Wow, you just affirming that, huh?
I'm just affirming that, because I'm like, in my mind, we're co-hosting this show right now.
That's right. I feel you.
I'm like, I'm on my way to my Emmy, so we're co-hosting.
Beautiful.
See how that? I'm just putting it into the levels. Yeah.
Yep. Hey, I don't play. Hey, look, I got my pocket affirmations with me at all times. Like, I don't play around. Like, these are my affirmations. And this is a prototype of a product that I'm looking to develop.
What? Okay, wait. I was just about to say, we about to wrap up. Wait. How you gonna pull that out? At the end of the episode, who does that? Okay, you gotta tell us about the pocket affirmations.
Oh man, affirmations are just so powerful, and I know that a lot of people do them. Many of us have been doing them wrong, by the way, so I really share tips on how to do them right. If you say things like, I will become successful, or I will have an Emmy award-winning show, that's not the right way to do it. You have three things that you need to have for an affirmation, and then I'll explain this. Number one, you got to have it in present tense. So I am an Emmy award winner, or I am a best-selling author, or I am a public speaker, or I am an entrepreneur. It has to be an affirmative statement that is. I have other ones that are like, I am creating a passive income product. I am attracting abundance into my life. So things like that. It's these I am statements. So that's number one. Number two, they can't be negative. They have to be positive. So they have to really feel abundant and not scarcity. And so some people will say, I don't give up. Well, by actually using the word don't, you've already entered into a negative state. And by saying give up, that's also a negative state. So when I say I don't give up, I almost want to like retreat. I almost want to like push my shoulders and lean back. I don't give up. Like it's defensive mode. Instead, what you say is I am resilient. I am resilient. You step into the thing, not removing the thing you want to correct, but empowering the thing that's going to actually change it. And so, like somebody else will say something like, I don't hesitate, or I don't procrastinate. Again, two negative words: procrastination and don't. Instead of that, you say I take action. What's the opposite of procrastination? When you can't move or you're sitting around, it's action. Action beats procrastination. So I take action. So the positive. And then number three, repetition. You have to be repetitious with the affirmations. I use something called Aqua Notes, which are like waterproof Post-it notes that you can have in your shower. Get a lot of ideas in the shower. So we have some of the affirmations sitting on our mirror, some of them sitting in the shower. I got a prayer book that's got my prayers in it for my morning rituals, but also the affirmations. And then I also carry them with me in my pocket so that when I have a few minutes in the day, I grab them and just kind of reread some of my affirmations just to kind of bring me back to center, remind me what it is I'm working on and who I need to serve and who I'm out here trying to make something happen for, but beyond just me. So when you do the repetition starts to actually activate a part of your brain. And I don't want to get too technical, so I'll try to make this quick. But if you want to look it up, you can search it. I get into the neuroscience of how people pursue their passion and how they can be successful by leveraging what we already have as our gift to be able to use that. So one of the things that we have that a lot of people don't know is something called the reticular activating system, the RAS, or known as the RAS. Small piece of your brain, back of your head, about the size of a number 2 pencil eraser. And it basically filters for the things that you've told your brain that are important to you. So your name is important to you. You've been conditioned over your life that no matter how noisy a street is or a party is or an event is, if somebody says Altavis in the corner, you're turning your head because you could have sworn you just heard somebody say Altavis. You have filtered out everything. Right? Am I lying? You filter out everything because that has been embedded that's important. It's the same way that if you start saying, I'm gonna go ahead and buy that jacket when I get the money. Now you start seeing that daggone jacket on commercials. They showing up on your Instagram feed. They showing up on some woman at the grocery store checkout line. And you're like, how come I'm seeing this jacket? Or like a car is a really common one. Like a car that now you all of a sudden see that car. It's always been there. But you've now told your brain consistently, this is something I want, or this is something I'm looking to get. And so now your brain has been recording that and is now filtering all these noises to be like, there it is. You said you wanted to go get it. There's that opportunity. You said you wanted more opportunities. Now the phone's ringing. Why are you running away from the phone? You're not answering the purpose that's calling for you, but yet you keep saying, I want to have more speaking engagements, and I'm giving them to you. You keep telling me, and now I'm filtering, and now you're getting all worried. Now I don't know what to price them. What do you, you understand what I'm saying? So like, this is a real thing. And now if you know that you could actually start to tell your brain things that are empowering to you and that it can help put out some energy and help you filter for those things. That's how affirmations can become manifestations. And so that's why for me, I've tried to take it to another level with actually trying to like carry these. So this was a prototype. I bought some stuff off of Etsy, and I'm basically going to turn these into real high quality plastic that will be on a ring that's going to have a nice graphic design around them. And I'm going to sell, pocket affirmations because I want people to say their affirmations right. And I want people to have them in their purse, their backpack, their pants pocket, and be able to manifest, but also radiate the energy that you really want in your life. Because when you do, you get that coming back to you. All them dream killers around you, they start to fall off or they get with the program real quick once they realize your power source is too strong for them. You like that kryptonite. Them pocket affirmations be like kryptonite. You be like, back up. Back up. You ain't knocking me. Self-doubt, back up. You don't understand my vision? Back up.
Immediately what you did made me think of the original Batman where it was like, pow, pay.
Oh, yeah. That's it. That's it.
Oh,
That's good.
my goodness. I love that.
I mean, look, I'll take it to another level. I got them up here. Y'all think I got these shoes up here because you think I just like to spend money and waste money on shoes. Okay, I like shoes. Sneakers are my thing. All right, so I'll admit that. Also, eyewear is my thing. Shout out to my sponsor, Zenny. See how that works? I just asked, Zenny, could you be my eyewear sponsor? I've been looking for an eyewear. I have to wear eyeglasses. Why am I spending money on eyeglasses and then I can't even talk about them? What if somebody asks me about my eyeglasses? I'm going to give a free commercial to somebody. Like, I searched for an eyewear company that I was really interested in because I was looking for somebody that could be affordable for my audience. Like, you know, your audience. I didn't want to be able to recommend $300 pair of glasses for my audience. I want to recommend something that they can actually afford. Right? So people don't even know. Zenny starts at $6.95. Y'all think I'm joking. $6.95. Like, I got several pair because they're affordable. And I got progressive lenses on top of that. So anyway, enough about, go to Zenny.com, by the way. If you go to Zenny.com/Mario, you can get a discount code. Zenny.com/Mario. but where I was going with all this is up on here are these shoes. And if you can see, I have like some of these things, like this one reads new course. This one up here reads, never settle, new season. So I have different affirmations, reminders associated with different shoes that I cannot wear until I hit that goal. So I call these tangible affirmations, the physical thing that I get to see to remind me, you still moving on that course, you better come on. You can't wear these. And I know you want to wear them. I know you want to shine, but you can't wear them yet. So some shoes sit on my shelves. Literally this one for the DJ book I'm doing with my brother. I'm doing a book with my brother, and he's a DJ now, but I'm a former DJ. I already know those shoes aren't going to be worn for about a year. I already know, because just going through the process so far, we're probably not even a third of the way through this process. And I keep looking at those daggone shoes, and I'm like, daggone it. I knew I shouldn't have made that affirmation with those shoes because I really wanted to wear them. but I know it's a year away. But it's a constant reminder. So now you can start to see, oh, this is how Mario is hacking himself. He's constantly got these little affirmations here. He's got them in his prayer book. He's got them in his shower. He's got them attached to items that he can't wear until he hits certain goals. So he is really working his Raz and his affirmations and his prayer and his faith on overtime, because we live in a world where there's so much negativity coming at us and there's so much stimulation coming at us that for every negative thing that comes at you, whether it's a word from yourself or someone else, you need at least 7 positive actions to erase that one negative action. So we have to work overtime in positivity to try to knock down or at least equalize the negativity.
So we just going, that's how we going to end the episode. We just going,
We're
not dropping mics over here. He dropped more than mics. He dropped the whole stage on y'all at the end of the #Speakeasy
Where DJ Flex at? I need my explosion. Where's my bomb at?
Another one. That's what we needed right in this moment, right?
I just love to give out to V's, and I just really appreciate you creating a presence, an energy, an opportunity. I really want to come back, and here's why. Because honestly, I felt like I did so much talking that I actually want to hear more from you, and I want to hear more questions. And so I feel like if this was our first way to introduce me to your audience, and to bring something that can be powerful for them in this moment, that's great. But I really want to hear more from you. I love the way you ask questions, and I want to go deeper with some of the questions that I know maybe you and your audience has. You
ain't said nothing but a word.
Good, because I just put that on you. Let's go.
So
see what happened, y'all? See what happened with her ass? She didn't even ask for that. She didn't ask for a second interview. She asked for this one, and she could have been beating herself up for not asking for something earlier, which really was just about her showing up at one of my shows, not actually me being on her show. Come on now. Timing. Look, if you keep doing what you're supposed to do, timing will catch up to you. it's much better for you, Alta Vista, to be in a situation not asking me how do I get to come to your show than it is for you to be asking me in this situation when you actually could use a good guest or somebody that can bring value to your audience that's gone through some things that you respect, that you admire, to come onto your show. That's a much better ask for you. And so I'm so glad that you didn't make that ask when you didn't make it. But I'm glad that you didn't hesitate to make the ask, because now I'm going to come back for a part 2 of this.
Oh, most definitely. And Speakeasy podcast listeners, I know y'all about to be all and sharing this all out. I know the inbox, the DMs are blowing up already on Instagram and on Facebook.
Let me see if anybody following me on there. Let me see. My Instagram better have some messages in there. I want to see some. I want to see some new family.
People, I already knew that it was going to happen. This is why I wanted to do the live studio audience. The energy that Mario brings. And so, with that being said, Mario, let the studio audience know how they can connect with you online and what you have coming up, because I know, there's some things in the works for
so first and foremost, I want to see some people pop in my Instagram right now. So at Mario Armstrong, at Mario Mario Armstrong. Shoot me a DM if you've been listening, or hit me with a follow so I can see you pop up and I'll follow you back. So at Mario Armstrong is where I give a lot of great content, a lot of free stuff just to help things just like this in bite-sized form. The Never Settle Show new season is coming. I can't wait to show y'all this. We have not been able to go back to our studio in New York City in Times Square due to COVID. So we finally pulled the trigger on, well, what are we going to do? We can no longer wait. Let's go ahead and take a chance. Again, we don't know how it's going to be received, but we're taking the chance. So we're making it up as we go along. So we're trying to put our best foot forward, and I'm really excited for y'all to see that. That's going to be coming out the end of February. So be looking for that on my Instagram. But also, if you really want to follow along, our website is neversettle.tv, neversettle.tv. And lastly, I would say, well, 2 things. If you're want to follow us on the YouTube channel, which is where the show will be airing initially, you can go to youtube.com and search Never Settle Network and then hit the subscribe button. Never Settle Network on YouTube, and then hit the subscribe button. And then last but not least, I have a lot of free worksheets that talk about some of these things, like that 3-ask formula that we discussed. I actually have a worksheet where you can actually print out exactly how that formula works. It gives you a template. Sorry about that. It gives you a template so that you can go ahead and start using it right away. So if you want to download any of those worksheets, we got a bunch of other free worksheets on there to help you with your vision, help you with your personal mission statement, help you overcome fear, something I call the fear ladder. A lot of different things in there. Just go to neversettle.tv/tools, TOOLS, neversettle.tv/tools. And I don't want to overwhelm everybody, but I will say this one last thing. We are really working hard on a course that the way people get funding for their ideas is usually through 3 sources. They either do it from their personal savings, they do it from family and friends, or they get, 4 sources: personal savings, family and friends, that could be personal credit, family and friends, institutional loans like a bank or something like that, or venture capital. Those are usually the 4 ways that we try to acquire money as capital for our businesses and our ideas. But the one that we only know how to do for the last 10 years, which is we now have 2 companies, has been through sponsorships, brand sponsorships, being able to figure out how stuff that you're creating can be aligned with a brand that also wants to reach that audience and use their money as a way to not only fund your idea, but also to get it out there and distribute it. And so we're coming out with a course that's not going to be cheap but it's going to teach you exactly how to pitch brands, how to find the right people. It's going to give you the templates. It's going to give you everything you need, how to deal with the objections. And then you're going to have access to me in a monthly, in a group monthly coaching program. So if that's something that really interests you and you are willing to really put up some kind of investment in, like, maybe you do events and maybe you have to go virtual now and you're trying to figure out how to get more sponsorship. Maybe you're writing a book and you're doing it independently. Well, I could teach you how you could actually get a sponsor to give you $5,000 or $10,000 towards that book so that you could actually pay for some marketing for your virtual tour or your physical tour. depending on where we are in the country at the time. So I believe that there are a lot of things that could be sponsored that get overlooked. So if that's of interest, go to marioarmstrong.com/courses, marioarmstrong.com/courses, and just give us your email. And then as we get more details about the different courses coming, we'll let you know. And if it seems like it's a good fit, hop on in. We're going to take good care of you.
Love it, love it, love it. Speakeasy podcast listeners, I do it all for y'all. Why? Because guess what? Without the Speakeasy podcast listeners, there would be no Speakeasy podcast show. With that being said, let me know how this episode resonated with you by giving us a review on your favorite podcasting platform. And with that being said, I am your host, Altavis Pelzer. Your voice manager. I unmute the voice of women, ready to speak up about what has kept her silent for way too long. Guys, make sure that you stop, write some things down, rewind if you have to, but guess what? Keep coming back, because I'm going to keep showing up with the information that you need in order for you to be able to succeed. That being said, I love you.
And shout outs to Dr. Shig. I got your note, Dr. Shig. I see you. I see you, Dwayne. I see you, Dwayne. I see you.
They are coming in. I love it. You guys have a great rest of your day.